What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to another EU4 time lapse, and you might notice that the last 4 videos have all had, well, this green shirt that the green screen picks up weirdly. Yes, this is my 4th video recording of this session. I'm recording all of this week's videos out so we can come out Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. This is a new thing that I'm trying where I record a bunch of videos at once and see if we can get 4, maybe even 5 videos out a week. But if we're going to get there, if we're going to keep this up regularly, I need you to hit that like button. I need you to hit that subscribe button. And let's get this channel off and running. And for today's time lapse, we have buffed Songhai, given them 32 tech to see, well, what can happen? Can they destroy everyone? Songhai is sort of seen as the Prussia or the Nepal. They are the military powerhouse. So not only are they the military powerhouse of West Africa, but we have also given them guns and I was going to say tanks and planes, but this is 1821, so they probably don't have either of those. But they do have guns. They've got better guns than anyone else will have. So with that, let's check and see what a buffed Songhai can do in EU4. So early on, we see some expansion from Songhai into the nations around them, sort of consolidating that West African region. There we go. They've taken Timbuktu. They have moved into air. They are starting to eat Mali. And if they can consolidate that region quickly and early, I'm hoping we'll see some of the expansion into the rest of the world that, well, we didn't see in yesterday's Mali video. Mali sort of took West Africa and just sat on it. So I'm hoping we'll see a little bit more out of Songhai. In the rest of the world, sort of things are going as you'd expect them to early on. Ming's not doing anything, France is consolidating, Muscovy is expanding, Songhai is starting to eat Morocco, Tunisia is chilling, and the Ottomans have eaten Wallachia. In North and South America, we do see some colonial, you know what, I was going to say we see some colonials starting to land, but no, those are the Native American tribes that bounce around on the coast of South America. So we have not seen them yet. Songhai has eaten Morocco, and it'll be interesting to see if they're the ones that we see push into Europe and go sort of the opposite of what we saw at Mali, where Mali went for a colonial game. I'd love to see a really military-focused push Songhai create an empire. The Timurids are expanding. They have managed to hold things together, but the Ottomans are quite powerful right now. We've got England sort of doing its thing, surprisingly not taking Ireland. Denmark just managed to integrate Norway, so maybe we see Scandinavia form. Songhai has continued to push into Tunisia, but early on in the first 120, 130 years of the game, the main thing that we see is the growth of the Ottoman Empire and Songhai taking Africa. It does appear that the Ottomans have released Byzantium. That's an interesting choice. I'm not sure if they have the historical modifier negativity. That could actually backfire on them a ton, especially when it appears they just lost territory to the Commonwealth. Is this going to be a second game where we see the Ottomans fall apart? It does appear to be leaning that way, with Byzantium really growing strong. Also, is that Sardinia or Tuscany in Italy? I'm not exactly sure. We'll zoom in on it afterwards to see what is going on in Italy, but that is a gray country that appears to be unifying Italy. Songhai has finally pushed into the Iberian Peninsula, something that we've sort of been waiting for, but it hasn't happened. That is going to open up North and South America to the British and the French. And actually, the British are in a really good position here because if Songhai pushes through Spain, their next target is going to be France. Really love seeing this powerful with quotations, as powerful as a small nation will be, Byzantium taking their cores back and trying to form something out of, well, nothing, because they were gone at one point. As happens in, well, I mention this every video that it happens in every video, China is just gone. They are completely exploded. We very rarely see Ming last anymore. It's just not something that happens. They regularly fall to this Ming explosion, and I guess that's just the way the devs want it. That is the course that we're seeing out of Ming. We do see expansion in North America now that is a green. That must be Portugal. They must control the islands, and they are now trying to basically leave Europe because I do not believe Songhai did colonizing. They are starting to hit France though, so this is exactly what we talked about, where the British could potentially have an advantage, where they are the only colonizer that has not yet been hit by Songhai. Songhai has managed to take the Congo region, and at this point I do want to apologize that I'm probably pronouncing Songhai wrong, so feel free to leave a comment with how poorly I'm pronouncing it, and who knows, maybe in the future I'll pronounce it better. Byzantium's gone. That's unfortunate to see, but they were completely annexed by Songhai, and it actually makes me wonder if they were a vassal of Songhai's maybe, and they got released. Not 100% certain, but we do now see them controlling territory in Eastern Europe and continue to expand into Western Europe. In the North American region, we do see most of the colonies are starting to get their independence. We've got Mexico, we've got Illinois, we've got Florida, we've got Cuba. So North America is starting to break up, and I expect to see the British colonies and the French colonies released sooner rather than later as they continue to be pushed by the Songhai in Europe. Now, Lunan, or Funge has appeared. That gives Songhai the ability to connect to Yemen if they want to go through Funge into Yemen and not need to colonize. They also do look like they're close to having a border with Mutapa to see if they want to consolidate the rest of Africa, or if they're pretty happy with their sort of African holdings that they have and just continue to consolidate their European holdings, which does appear to be what they're doing as they have rapid expansion right now in Eastern Europe, consolidating more and more of that territory while also pushing into South America. Deccan is the dominant power in India. That is not something that we see very often. Seeing Deccan dominate there is pretty cool. They do start as the island off the southern coast of India and seeing them expand up north. I believe that's who they start as. That's pretty cool. France holding on to their colonies is a winner. England has managed to lose their colonies. France is fighting Songhai and holding their colonies. How? I have no clue at this point. And they very well might hold them to the end, which would be absolutely awesome. Are they going to do it? We got 6 years left. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. France managed to hold their colonies in South America while barely holding coastline in North America. It actually looks like France was in the process of fleeing to Ireland to get away from the Songhai. That is awesome. A couple of things to look at in Europe. Mantua is the one who managed to unite Italy. So I did go back and watch the time lapse really quickly just to see what that gray country that we saw was. That was the two Sicilies. And at one point we had the two Sicilies in the south and Tuscany in the north. And yet out of that, Mantua is the one that comes on top in Italy. Finland. Finland is not a country that we see every day. Ming just barely exists, but in reality Shun and Archon hold the power in China. So Songhai managed to completely eliminate Castile. Oh wait, they're just chilling in Illinois with their buddies, the Yaqui Federation. Also, they have a colony in California. Honestly, Cuba expanding to the mainland is pretty cool. Also didn't realize that Castile also has territories in Siberia. So they're all over the place, but they exist in Illinois. Religiously, as would be expected when we buff a Sunni country, the world is more Sunni than it would normally be. The Catholics have managed to hold off the majority of the Reformation, but we do see a rapid expansion of Anglicanism because of the British and their colonies. Confucianism is actually holding pretty well in China. A lot of times with these Ming explosions, we see just a mess in China, but seeing sort of that Tengri, Confucian, Hindu, the China-India region actually held together pretty well, much better than we've seen in other time lapses. Not that much different of a culture map than what I would expect. That is going to happen in these shorter time lapses. Even in the longer ones, the AI really doesn't do much culture converting. And so, sort of what I would expect to see in a 400-year time lapse. It's not going to be a huge amount of change, and when we do see change, we'll notice it because, well, it doesn't change all that much. Dynastically, we've got the Romanovs once again in Russia. Gonzaga has stopped playing basketball and decided to rule the Nordic states and Poland. So, you do you, Gonzaga. Askia is the Songhai, and that is the Timurids. So that is a pretty powerful dynasty right there. Development-wise, we see the Songhai were able to consolidate a lot of development and power into their capital base, while also, expanding into that development hub that is Western Europe. Not a huge amount of sort of destruction to the rest of the world around them as far as development goes, but we do have some hubs, it looks like they're in Mexico, but it's primarily Songhai, and then you've got your Paris, England sort of development hubs. And finally, we have got the great powers of the world. We've got Songhai with 5,500 development. We've got Mexico with 1,380. In third place, we've got the Revolutionary Timurids with 1,300. Shun in fourth with 1,340. Only in fourth place by 4 development. France in fifth place with 1,167. Mantua with 1,075. The Commonwealth with 10,7. And Deccan with 988. It is always interesting to see in one of these time lapses when we have one of the great powers not having 1,000 development. That does not always happen. Usually the top 8 have 1,000 developments. However they want to combine it, they are able to get there. I do find it interesting that the Timurids are the only revolutionary country in the top 8. But the Songhai really just ran away with this time lapse. And with that, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're new, do make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And if you're not new and you've been around, you just haven't been hitting that button, hey, I do it too on channels that I watch. But you know what? I'm trying to get better, and I've started hitting that subscribe button more often, so you should too. I know I appreciate it. It really does help the channel. It helps us grow. It helps us reach new people. And it helps me get more content out to you. So thank you so much, because I know that you just hit that subscribe button. I'm talking to you. You know who you are. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And I'll see you guys next time. Reath out.